Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? It's me.
Hey,
What's up,
friend.
everybody?
Hey, friend. Give the people your name and your pronouns.
It's me, JJ, also known as your gay best friend times 10, and I am he, him, and sometimes her too.
Tell the folks where you at, JJ.
I am in the Bronx, New York City, and I don't know what y'all talking. Don't listen to Rodriguez. He a little out there.
How old?
So, all right.
How old?
Me, I'm 34 years old, but I look 24.
What is what is your BZ or your zodiac sign?
I'm an Aquarius. I was born on January 25th, so I'm a January Aquarius. We're much more special than the February ones. They're amazing. But yeah, I'm a little crazy too. Gotta be
That
honest here.
that's fine. We got JJ here. You say you from the BX, right, JJ?
Period. I'm New York all day, every day. Born in Brooklyn, raised in Long Island, landed in the BX. So I'm like a mix of those three.
Well, Charlemagne already warned us that the craziest people is in all of Florida and the Bronx. So we ready. So what is your sexual orientation, JJ?
I am gay as fuck. Can't you tell?
And what do you do for a living, JJ?
Well, right now I'm in the security field. I've been in the security field for the past 9 years. I don't want anybody to get discouraged by my job because I make sure I get paid, honey.
Why would you say that you are single, JJ?
I'm single by choice right now, honestly.
What,
I could have been in a relationship. I could have been in many relationships. It's just that on this self-love journey, I've just chosen not to get in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship.
I respect that. How long have you been single?
I've been single, like in terms of like not dealing with anyone for the past 2 years consecutively. I would say 2.5, 3 years.
At this point in your self-love journey, do you think that you're ready for love? Would you say that you're ready for love?
I'm almost ready. I'm very honest. I suffered from a lot of childhood trauma. So I
Mm.
think anybody that has suffered from a lot of childhood trauma, I'm at the age where, I've been in therapy consistently for the past 3 years. So I've been working on myself. I've been healing myself. Okay. And also on this self-love journey, that's also a part of it. So the more and more I love myself, the less I'm tolerant of, and the more, let's say, open I am to date different types of people.
What what has been your how long has been your longest relationship thus far?
My longest relationship was with an ex-boyfriend who lives around the corner right now. That was 2 years. My first ever relationship, though, that lasted for about 2 years. His name was Travis. He was on the down low. I think a lot of us in our first relationships when we're like baby gays, um, we get into relationships and we tend to go with the flow in terms of like, because when I was a baby gay, I didn't really know much about being gay. I didn't know much about the world. I didn't know much about the community. And then, of course, you meet someone that's older and they're so-called teaching you how it's supposed to go. And when you get to my age, then you realize that's actually not how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't consider that a relationship, but yeah, I would say about 2.5, no, about 5 years ago, I was with Greg. Yeah,
Is that the one now which one lives near you?
Greg.
Okay. So how is it living how does that work living that
Well,
close to your
I actually seen him not long ago, which was maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. Um, I always run into him, whether if I'm running to the supermarket, I run into him. And it's so funny. That didn't work out. Our relationship didn't work out because at the time I was very immature. And I'll tell you guys the story, and I'm sure we all can relate to it. Uh, I was supposed to go spend the night at his house for the first time, and he told me that he couldn't come over because he had to do something with his son. His son was a little bit younger than I was. Now, when I'm not a, I believe that's his biological son. I believe that's his biological son. I'm not 100% sure if it was his biological son, but I believed it because that's what I was told. And Greg was much older than I was. But so when he told me that, this was back in the day, so this was maybe more than 5 years ago, Lord Jesus. Uh, this is when we were on Adam for Adam, and I saw that he was still online, and I thought that he was avoiding me because, of course, that's happened to me before. I thought that he was avoiding me and making the excuse of his son um, as to why I couldn't come over, and I thought that he was dipping and doing it with somebody else, and I responded and I reacted to it. And when I reacted the way I reacted, he told me that he was disappointed in me and that he knows that I know that he loved me very much and that he didn't want to be with me anymore after the way I responded, the way I responded.
Love, it sounds like from a psychologist standpoint, somebody who studies human behavior, it sounds like you were right on point. It sounds like you clocked it, called it out, and you honestly gave him a way out. You gave him a out. You gave him a window by confronting him. And kudos to you. Kudos
Yeah.
to
One
you.
thing about me, if anybody gets into a relationship with me, I'm very headstrong. I can definitely defend myself.
What do you consider strengths of yours?
My strength is my mouth and my resilience. I'm intellectual and I'm very smart. I don't even like to use the word smart. I'm intelligent. A lot of life experiences from I was in foster care from 2 weeks old until I was 21 years old. And then from 21 years old to 31, I survived by like pretty much like house hopping, like being on friends' houses, couches, or renting rooms. Because the bitch always had a job. So she was never homeless because she always had a job. So from 21 to 31, I learned a lot of it was through trial and error. So a lot of things that I learned in my life was very much self-taught
Mm.
because of the trial and error. And from 31 to 34, I'm healing.
What would you consider a weakness for you?
My weakness is that I'm too friendly. I'm too trusting. And these could be not seen as weaknesses, right? It depends on how you look at them. Being too trusting is I say it's a weakness because I always tend to trust the wrong people. I like to think of myself as being a light. I'm very approachable. I like to think that I'm very attractive. I grew up very ugly. So now in this time in my life, I know I'm the bombdiggity.com. So I think my trusting and my friendliness is what gets me into trouble. And then, well, especially back then, the lack of boundaries. So I think those were weaknesses in my life. And now that I'm much more grown and I've been in therapy and I'm healing and I've learned boundaries and I've learned limits and things like that. Um, yeah.
I do think you're a light as well. And I believe that I possess some of that myself, but being the light, we can and will attract the darkness.
Oh, yeah. Bugs come to the light.
But
Roaches love the light.
but
Mosquitoes. Coming from foster care, relationships is something that I hold very true to me. And it wasn't until I met two of my best friends, and we've been consistently best friends for the past 4 years. Now I know what real friendship is supposed to be. Now I know what real friendships is. So I'm least likely that comes with self-love. That comes with, healing. It comes with learning. But I've X'd all of those relationships out who have done me dirty. I don't I don't give any more chances. on my 32nd birthday, or my 32nd birthday.
Hmm.
Um, so this was 2 years ago, right before the pandemic hit. I had went out with friends and we had a birthday dinner and it was beautiful. All of my people were there. And I wound up going to a bar and going out somewhere with someone else. Long story short, I blacked out and I did some things that weren't good. Um, and the next day I got home and I didn't remember what happened. I just remembered storming off. I remember bits and pieces of me getting home. And I called my friend. She had told me what happened and what I had done, and I was mortified, mortified. And I apologized. And from that moment on, I knew that I had some work to do. So I quit drinking. Okay, because apologies come with changed behavior. And at some point, if you want to heal and you want to be a better person, you have to take things very seriously. So I quit drinking. I enrolled myself into therapy. There was a point where I had to get on meds, and I didn't want to, but I did. And fast forward, I drink responsibly now.
Describe your ideal partner for us. What does this guy look like?
I'm so happy you asked this question because now that I've been healing and now that I've been finding myself, I finally know the answer. I need someone who is nurturing. I need someone who is patient. I need someone who is kind. I need someone who is loving. I need a partner, not a leader.
Mm.
Um, Now,
It's
if you want to talk about like physical attributes and things like that,
yeah, but it's too.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind me a strong man. I wouldn't mind me a chunky man. I wouldn't mind me a feminine guy. I wouldn't mind me a slim guy. I wouldn't mind a short guy because it's all about the personality and the person within for me, honey. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like teeth is a kind of like a deal breaker for me.
Give
So
us all.
I like a nice mouth. I love a nice mouth. Like, you have to be clean, hygiene friendly. We all like a little must, but that's usually while we're in action, not from you coming from the gym. You must shower before you get in your bed. You must wash your legs. And this may not rub everybody the right way. Um, I wouldn't mind dating a white guy. It's just my feelings when dating white men. I always have this feeling of feeling less than my partner, less than the other because of my skin complexion.
Mm. And if I'm not mistaken, you are biracial, friend, right?
My daddy's a white man. Yep. My mom is black. My dad is white. I don't really know much about him. I only know what people tell me of him. But yeah, I'm half black, half white. There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect.
Okay. I respect that. We don't even have to go any further. Um,
Hmm.
would you consider yourself more dominant or submissive in
Oh,
relationships?
I'm definitely dominant. Like this, like from the way I just explained, the way my life has gone, I'm dominant. I can be submissive. I enjoy being submissive because I'm a natural people pleaser, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And um, I like to be liked. I like to be enjoyed. I also like to be seen. Um, and so yeah. What was the question again?
I think that you told us that you're naturally
Yes, I'm
dominant.
dominant. Yeah. I will I can throw you on the bed and, sit on your face. I don't need you to bed
Ah,
me up to do that.
ah. And speaking of that, face sitting, is physical intimacy important to you?
Absolutely. I think physical intimacy, especially for me, and I don't know if it's because I have issues, but like when I was a kid, I enjoyed giving hugs. I enjoyed showing love, hugging, and I think that is natural because I didn't have it growing up, like in terms of like the motherly love and that, I was raised by the system.
Hmm.
So, yes, nurturing, hugs, cuddling, um, caressing, whatever it is. If I'm very handsy, And that's one of my love languages. So yeah, I appreciate it back. Just little things. Well, I know that I have the tendency to push people away. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Because I'm an out of sight, out of mind type of guy. Like if you're not around, out of sight, out of mind. You know, the older I get, the more I live on seeking connections and not validation. So I'd much rather have connection with a person than to be validated by someone. But I definitely um I have issues with abandonment. Absolutely.
What do
Um
what typically would cause you to push someone away?
um Inability to talk through an issue, right? Sometimes things get really uncomfortable and some people will literally, because I could go all day, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when there's an issue and I'm asking questions and I'm like trying to figure out what is it that I can do or what is something that we can do differently to make it better. And I hear, you know what, just forget about it. I'm gonna forget about that shit. I will walk right out.
So communication, you're big on communication.
Now that I'm an adult, of course, when I was younger, that was an issue, and that's why a lot of things didn't work out because I wasn't able to communicate. Because I'm always the pleaser. So how dare I say something that's not nice or not going to match up with someone else? I was such a pleaser that I would walk on eggshells just to please a man, just to be with that man.
When were you last physically intimate with someone?
The last time was June the 3rd or June the 4th.
So that's been about what, 2, 3 months? Something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not as active as I was when I was younger.
Why
Ching.
why not the
Well, child, you got the monkeypox out here now. Everybody's on a Tina girl, so clearly those are things that I don't like. Everybody's on a Tina, everybody's on the monkeypox. There's no. I know my shit is good. Like I said earlier, like I know it's good. So I just want more than that. I want more than what I was giving. I need to receive more, and the older I get, like now I have a little friend in my bottom drawer. And in my self-love journey, I realized how much I was missing out on during sex.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I've been sexually active since I was 19. I started at 19. And I've always knew I was a bottom. I just like the art of legs in the air. I enjoy my legs in the air. I have nice legs. I have really nice legs to put, in the air.
Why not the person who you were with in June or July?
Oh, why we're not like to
Yeah, why
together?
didn't that work?
I was in a really bad state of depression, and I literally went and had sex with him just so I could get my mind off of whatever I was going through. Like it was really bad. Um, I was missing out. They just want to
Now,
jam it in there. There's no, there's no, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you got to ease it in. It's a muscle. Like, you can't just be jamming it. I'm not loosey goosey.
what is your age range for dating?
Um, so I'm 34 now. 45 is young. 45 is young. 45 is even 50. 50 is young, you
I agree.
know? And, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't got no little daddy issues, on the other hand, but I once
I
had sex with a 78-year-old
agree.
man. I had a young 78-year-old. I'm talking about he had abs and everything, some
Now,
Caribbean guy. He was
78.
hanging. He was a granddaddy, like, but it was everything.
I ain't say 78 was young, friend. See, how do you feel about kids in marriage?
Um, to be honest, I've X'd out kids for me. Because of my age and, circumstances and demographics. I'm somewhat of a realist. Um, but I'll never take away hope. That's one thing that I love about myself is I'll always be hopeful.
Do you have any income requirements or preferences?
No, just have a job. And I say that because like even me, like I'm not a rich bitch, I'm not making six figures or all of the things like that. But like if you can just like if I'm able to maintain myself, you have to be able to maintain yourself too. And then when that comes together, we can maintain each other. So I'm never going to sit here and say, oh, you need to be making this amount of money. Who the fuck am I? Um, just have a job.
I take it night in or night out.
Uh Both. It depends. Like I'm very adventurous. I'm very spontaneous, but I'm also like getting older, and I think the pandemic has the world is crazy out here now. People shooting people, monkeypox, COVID. You go to the mall, they shooting up the mall. So I like to be inside a little bit more these days. Okay. So if it's not work, most likely, if it's not a friend's birthday, if it's not an event, I'm home.
I take it. Do you know your love languages? And if so, what are they?
I suck a mean dick. And I like to touch. My mouth ain't this big for no reason now. My love language is touch. I love to pamper. Like, I can be very domestic.
Are you willing to relocate for love, or do they have to be in New York?
I'm willing to relocate.
What would make you a great partner for a happy, healthy, healing man?
I think my will to survive, my will to be great. Um, I've literally just told you bits and pieces of my life, and then I sit back and I'm like, I'm 34 years old. I'm not in jail. I'm not dead. I'm not on drugs. Marijuana ain't a drug no more. And I'm regardless of my ups and downs, I'm doing really good. And I'm one of the lucky ones, right? Because there weren't many like that. So what I would bring to a relationship is love, family, all of those things that I wanted as a kid. Um, Being in a relationship would so much fulfill that, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I,
No,
I I wouldn't look at my partner as just my partner or my husband. That'll be like my family. You can follow me here on Instagram at your gay best friend times 10, or you can follow me on TikTok. You'll see a lot more of my personality on TikTok.
you are GAYBESTFRANNNX 10.
Your gay best friend times
Your
10.
gay best friend times 10.